Yes, I'm trying to flee a domestic abuse crisis.
Do what?
I'm sorry, trying to flee a domestic abuse crisis.
Okay, hang on one second.
Okay.
Let me get my people.
I want to keep it confidential. I don't know how safe my phone is, but you're located in Ada, right?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
located in Addison.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and name,
It's Kiana Clark.
Deanna.
Um, I don't understand what the relevancy of me knowing the area before I tell you about my crisis.
Because we are a very small DV shelter, and I just wanted to make sure that we don't offer a ride anywhere. That we have to use public transportation, and it's only until 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Oh, some people that we get don't know that it is a small town, and there's not a lot here, and um, we don't have any transportation services.
Well, I can just get what I can get to try to flee abuse.
Okay,
It's a start.
okay. And your age?
No shelter offers transportation anymore
No, that's why I was
because
asking
they
that.
used to offer Ubers and Lyfts and it all stopped. Don't they have the
We
freedoms to family?
we don't offer it here.
Okay. Well, they have the Freedoms to Family organization that can get women to their domestic violence organizations, right?
Um, not here.
No, I thought it was a Freedoms to Family organization that can get women anywhere that they needed to go to flee abuse.
Um, I haven't heard of that.
Okay. Well, yes.
But um, if you want, like if you don't have transportation, I can give you a number to another shelter that may. We just don't here.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and see
And
what you have to offer, and then I'll get the other number just in case.
all right.
What's
And
what's the other number? I'll go ahead and take it.
um, hang on one second. Let me
Okay.
get that for you.
No, no medical treatment.
Okay.
And I get the gang stalk daily, and there's harassment that I endure at multiple different locations. I'm illegally monitored by the government and corruption. My abuser is able to enlist the government in his abuse, and they set up harassment at multiple different environments and schemes to keep me from services. And they've forced me into being homeless. They set up false arrests to take everything that I have multiple times, and so Petty has even set up false arrests to take clothes. When I was forced into homelessness, I build up nice clothes, and then they scheme and then take everything that I had. Over and over again, they've done it 21 times. So when I'm in
Have
a
they?
certain location, they scheme up criminal trespasses and all kinds of abuse to keep me from services all over the place, forcing me to move around, and then they start up the false arrest and other harassment again on a clean slate because they do multiple false arrests, and then the courts get tired of covering for them. So then they force me out to a fresh new location where they can start up the same insanity over and over again.
Have they ever threatened you with a gun
Well,
or
I get
weapon?
gang stalked and someone pulled a gun on me and put it up to my head and pulled the trigger. Thank God it wasn't bullets
Yeah.
in it, and the police department covered for it. I was forced into a tent because I could not get shelter and services anywhere in Dallas, and it was COVID-19. And I went to emergency shelter at Dallas Convention Center, and they schemed to get me out of there and had all people deny me housing and other shelter opportunities, and then let people threaten me. And I had a theft, and they put me out, and well, they arrested me for trying to report the theft of my new battery pack. It was vital because I needed to record my experiences. So, the time I got a battery pack, it was mysteriously stolen, and I was punished for reporting it. Today, I went to Our Daily Bread. They're forcing me out of Salvation Army and lied about domestic violence programs. So I went to Our Daily Bread, and they schemed to keep me from getting services there. And then they scheme at how I went to police departments trying to stay because they are committing crimes to keep me from all help. So they put me out of police departments, hospitals, and multiple different locations, forcing me out to be in jeopardy. And then my family's scared to be around me because of all of the insanity, and we've been denied law enforcement for years.
Any availability at this time?
You didn't
But
think
like
to
I
tell me
said,
that before I went through the whole thing? Because for 7 years I've called Canada, all over the United States, and I told the police I think my calls are being spoofed. I don't get 95% of my calls. And for 7 years,
uh-huh,
everywhere in the United States have been full, including a couple locations outside of the United States, forcing me to have to be in
okay,
jeopardy. And you're all the way in
right.
Oklahoma, Ada, Oklahoma, and you're full too. And you said it was
Yes,
a small
we're
town, it wasn't really much there, but now you're full. And then
we
multiple
are
people
just
have
a
got caught
small
in blatant
shelter
lies.
that
What's the name of your shelter?
it's the Family Crisis Center.
It's peculiar to call 7 years and every location has been full. I guess the only place, the way that someone could have scammers on a leash or in this close proximity is perhaps maybe they're identity thieves. Huh.
I'm not sure.
I just don't understand how the government would have scammers in their pocket. And if they are, could indeed identity thieves, that's criminal. And indeed to enlist civilians in crimes and harassment so they don't get felonies. And then
Um,
targeting a government witness everywhere they're at so they don't get their charges. Ma'am, I'll call again, but I've called for 7 years, and I don't know why the police department keeps showing up at my providers angry when I'm reporting crimes, and why they would try to arrest me for reporting identity theft like they did it. Okay, ma'am, I'll try again, but I've tried 7 years. Okay, let me call
right.
this other place in Shawnee. But
Okay.
is there what happened to all the hotels and other services? There's
What do
no
you
one
mean?
on the planet that can secure someone a safe environment for 7 years. Period.
I couldn't tell you about
You're a
any other
domestic
place.
violence organization, and you don't know about anyone being able to secure someone a location. Places have been full 7 years, and then stopped all the
We
hotel
don't know
stays.
anything about other agencies.
But I'm asking you for this one. You're full, so what do? You just leave me in danger?
No, I can give you referrals to other agencies.
Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to interrupt the pattern of calling around 7 years and then giving my story over and over again, and every location's full, and then can't remember where I'm calling. So I'm just trying to
Right,
interrupt that pattern. So how do we get someone, an advocate, that can secure me a safe environment so I don't have to endure more games 7 years?
right. All I can do is give you referrals, like I said.
Oh, so there's no advocate on the planet that actually has a position in securing someone a safe environment to flee abuse. Period.
I only know about this organization.
And this organization has no advocate that can secure someone a safe environment. Period.
We are just a small place.
I don't think I'm under really getting clarity because if a woman's fleeing abuse, why would you leave her in it? 7 years. They're past, there's chairs randomly just moving the chairs around when I'm trying to get domestic violence help.
I can't say for the past 7 years. All I can say
Well,
is
I'm on the call with you and I'm trying to get clarity on how I can interrupt everyone being full 7 years and then
and
get
I
an
don't know
advocate
about
to secure
anybody
me a safe
else.
environment. I'm on the phone with you. Is there an advocate there that can secure a safe environment? There's no advocate on the planet. You don't have referrals to an advocate that will sit down with me and make sure I'm safe and not leave me in it like I've had to be in it 7 years.
I can give you referrals to other agencies
I
as
don't think
far
I'm
as
being heard. Does anyone secure a woman a safe environment on the planet that has that job description?
if there's an agency that has an opening, then yes,
Okay, wait a minute. If they have an opening, then they can secure me a safe environment at another location? If they have an opening
yes,
there?
yes,
Okay, if they have an opening, I don't need someone to secure me a safe environment. They have an opening there.
exactly. That's what a domestic violence shelter is
Oh, well, let me get clarity.
for you to
So
go
there's
there.
no one on this planet, period, that can help a woman flee an extreme amount of abuse, period, on the planet, that has a job task in placing her and not leaving her in jeopardy. No one has that title that you're aware of.
I'm sure there is somebody on the planet that.
But you're a domestic violence organization and you don't have that information.
No, I can only say things about this agency. I can't say anything
But if
about
you're
any
giving me
other
referrals,
place.
I'm trying to get a referral for a place that will secure me a safe environment and not have me repeat my story over around 150 times and for all of them to be full.
And I apologize for that, but I
Okay,
can
ma'am.
only.
Well, I'll go ahead and call the other place and see what games that they have. I'm just trying to incriminate people, ma'am. I don't think
All
identity
right.
thieves need to have this much power to abuse. Thank you. Yes, is there a possibility that you can check and see if you're full before I give you my story? Because I think it's sadistic for 7 years for all domestic violence organizations to have me repeat my story over and over again, and 150 places have been full, even out of this country.
Yes. Before I ask you the questions already, can I just get a first and last name?
I'd like to keep it confidential. I don't know if my phone is secure, but I could.
Okay. I understand that. I will respect that. Do not have any real regrets, and they're not saying that that will not be the case at my wedding today. Um, would you like to call back after? I know maybe you're basically pressing time and you're in a crisis, but after 6, you could call and see if we have anyone leaving or anyone who did not show up that was supposed to.
Okay, I have. There's no one on the planet that just can help a woman flee abuse and not just leave her in it. I can't call someone that will call around for me instead of forcing me to call around to scammers that are always full all these years. There's no
Right.
one that cares about women anymore that calls around for them and secures them a safe environment.
So what I can tell you about our shelter and the one that I've seen here, the only reason why we send you to different like numbers is because they have their own
I just asked if
value
my question
system.
isn't answered, ma'am, for years. And my question is there anyone that cares about women that calls around and secures them a safe location themselves instead of forcing the woman to do it to never get it 7 years? So my question is, does anyone call around for the woman and advocate for her and secure a safe environment on the planet?
So we do advocate for women here at the shelter. Like I said, the only reason why have you called is for a lethality assessment. If you want, you can call your local DA's office and have their own victim advocate reach out to you, and they can call around and talk to anyone. Like I said, they're probably going to have you talk to someone that works at that shelter because they need to do their own lethality assessment. It's not anything against you being a woman or in a domestic violence. It's just to let them know what are your needs, what their resources can
I'm
do.
not being heard, ma'am. The point of it is there anyone that you can direct me to that will call around and secure me a safe environment for me and advocate for me?
What do you mean you're not being heard? Like,
You can't give me a referral for someone that'll call around and secure me a safe environment.
yes, I did say you can reach out to your DA's office
That's the only
and
one. No
they can
domestic violence
advocate.
organization does that. What? How do they help women flee if they refuse to do it?
If they refuse to do it, if they
If the
refuse to
domestic
call,
violence organization refuses to get on the phone and advocate for a woman fleeing abuse if they're full, then why would they not get on the phone and call around and advocate for her and secure a safe environment? And they're advocates.
like if I am the one to call the shelter, I can do that. Like I can call, but they will still have me. They will say the same thing that we tell other shelters
Well, this
that
all changed when I got in my crisis because when I used the fake name at Salvation Army, she called around and advocated for me. And then ever since then, my abuser's been controlling it, and now no one on the planet does it anymore to leave the woman sitting in abuse. So how, if my abuser was able to control all shelters all over the United States, that's pretty sick. So he has changed
yes,
all shelters' procedure to not advocate for the woman anymore forced her to call around on her own to get denied services like 150 times, yet nothing's repeatedly done. So why has all shelters changed their process and enforced sadistic behavior of the woman going over her trauma over and over, reliving it over and over again? Won't even check to see if they're full first. Then after she goes over the relives the trauma over and over again, they're full for 7 years, 150 places outside of the United States, some of them. How could he change that whole procedure?
I hear you. I hear you.
But we're
And
not
I
getting
think
anything,
that
a resolution for it on how I can get an advocate
right.
that will secure me a safe environment that I haven't received in 7 years.
Right. But again, I just need to reiterate that you can give me your information, you can give me your number and all this stuff, and I can reach out to different shelters, but they will tell me the same thing that
I mean, that's what I'm
like
getting clarity on. Why did it change? Because it used to
um
be that you went over your situation one time, and then the advocate would go
right
over what the crisis is, and then secure
right
that person a safe environment. Now shelters have become sadistic.
so we are working towards doing a multidisciplinary um place for women and for children to relive their trauma for one time and all of that. But that's not in all of the shelters. Like all of these shelters are not multidisciplinary where we have like an on-call law enforcement. We have
I'm not getting
things
any kind of
like that.
resolution on a place that can help me secure an environment. What are the resources you're going to give me when you have that information that I want a place to secure me a safe environment besides the
Are
DA?
you wanting are you wanting other resources for shelters?
Yes, because you claim you're full,
Because I
like
can
they've been
because
full 7 years.
I can give you those numbers, but you were saying, is there any? Can I point you somewhere where you don't have to call? You would have an advocate call for you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. And I was telling you the only thing that I know of, because I've only been working in victim services for years, so I don't know all the answers for you. Um, but whenever you asked me that question, you wanted me to answer. I pointed you to the DA's office because they have a victim
Ma'am,
advocate
I've had these
that
long
will
extended
advocate
calls
for
that
you.
never get to me fleeing abuse. I'm pressed for time.
So we have a shelter in Shawnee called House of Hope. Would you like the number?
That's what this is supposed to be. Is this?
No, this is Project Safe.
Oh, and Shawnee. Okay. Okay, the House of Hope.
It's 405-878-4676.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the number. It immediately went off my phone when I tried to record it. This is the number. It says Atlanta, Georgia.
What's the location of your emergency?
I'm at Jack in the Box. I have questions on programs that the police department have to help women flee abuse.
Okay. Which Jack in the Box are you at?
Why do you need to know?
I mean, if you don't want to tell me, that's fine.
No, I don't want
Do you
to.
want me to? Okay, that's fine. Do you want me to have an officer give you a call back to
No,
point
I'd
you to
like
the
for you to
office?
get information on how a woman can successfully flee. What channels do I need to take to get an advocate to place me in a safe environment? I'd like you to find that out.
Okay. Well, the officers would know that information best. That's why I'm trying to get you to get in contact with them.
No, because the officers have failed to give me that 7 years. That's not working. So if you can place me on hold and give me channels that the police department can secure someone a safe environment in the United States anywhere, I can relocate. The friends and families deny me services. Salvation Army's line and deny me services. I'm in Denton, and also other multiple other locations.
Our main thing over in Denton is the Friends of the Family Shelter.
I
That
don't
is
think I'm
usually what
being
our
heard
officers.
because I don't understand why the police department started denying a woman ability to flee. It won't help anymore. Why do they have no programs or advocates or any information? Why is there no one on the planet that can call around and secure someone a safe environment anymore? I have called 911, told you I was trying to flee abuse, and you don't know either.
That's why I'm trying to get you in contact with an officer.
I don't want to speak with the officer. I'm trying to interrupt this pattern of getting nowhere, this hamster wheel that's deliberate. So can you place me on hold and find out the channels that people are supposed to be taking to keep me safe and protect me from abuse?
Okay. This one is getting out of an abusive situation, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
I'm not, I don't think I'm quite being heard. I like an advocate to secure me a location. I've been forced to call on my head device for years. So I like to go to a location and have someone call for me and secure me a safe environment. I'm not able to do it on my own.
there's two options. I can have an officer come out to you and help get you resources, or you can
I'm not
contact
being heard. I'm asking for a direction on getting an advocate to secure me a safe environment. I haven't been heard for 7 years. Oh, okay, so no advocate on the planet secures a woman a safe environment anymore. It can't be done?
Denton County Friends of the Family is an advocacy group. They'll be the ones to connect you with a secure place to stay.
I think you guys are committing crimes, and you're committing crimes to keep me in my abuse. I think you all are taking bribes from this very wealthy guy, and that's criminal. And I think you're hacking my phone, and I don't know how people have scammers in their pockets. The only thing that's common sense to me is if they're identity thieves. How would you have scammers in your pocket? I'm not being heard. I'm asking for an advocate to do the not commit crimes and be honest and advocate for me.
Give you their phone number.
I can't use Denton Other Family. They're crooked. They put me out for my abuser and deny me
Do
services.
you want a phone number to call?
Yeah, are you
The
giving me?
advocate?
Are you giving me Friends of the Family?
Yes, that's the advocacy center.
I'm not being heard.
Okay, you can have an officer or that County Friends of the Family phone number. That's how the police department can assist you.
Okay, so this is my choice. Hold on. So my choice is the only thing that the police department can do is just refer me to Friends of the Family. They don't have any kind of victim assistance or
I
anything.
can have an officer come out to meet with you.
I'm not being heard, ma'am. I'm asking if you have victim assistance.
Yes.
Why would the police department
Through a police
repeatedly lie
officer.
and know when I'm recording things?
Do you want victim assistance through the police department, or do you want Denton County
I've
Friends of the
asked for that
Family?
multiple different times. I don't know why people blatantly lie all the time around me and know what's going on with my devices immediately, like they're hacking them illegally. And what if they're doing it to someone else that's very wealthy?
What would you like?
I asked
How
for
can we
the
help
police
you?
help with the police department, and you repeatedly lied until something happened on my device. If the police department is monitoring my environments and using scammers to cover for crimes and immediately know what's going on, like they've had for 7 years on my devices, interrupting any kind of help I could possibly get because they're illegally monitoring my devices, that's criminal. But ma'am, I asked you multiple times with the police department, and all you said all you had was Denton County Friends of the Family until something happened with my device. You immediately knew, like they have
Okay,
7 years.
for right now, not what happened since the last 7 years. Right now, do you want an
Well,
officer
I think
present?
that's pertinent evidence. I don't know why the police department would ignore all that for 7 years.
We're not ignoring it, ma'am. I can't take reports or get you
Okay,
connected
well,
like
with the
that.
victim assistance you
I'm
lied
in
about,
dispatch. I
with the
can
victim
send you
assistance
an
you lied about,
officer.
ma'am, with
No,
the
I
police
didn't.
department.
We have victims assistance. Do you
Okay.
want an officer to come out and give you victims assistance?
No, I thought someone had a position with that.
It's a Saturday in the middle of the day. An officer will come out and then they will get you in touch with victims assistance.
No, they haven't done it for 7 years. They bullied me and
basis.
mistreated me and sometimes taken my freedom. That has not happened. But what I'm asking about is the victim assistance that you have with the police department. And I'm
Do
repeatedly
you want to come to
disregarded.
the police department?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to come to the police
I'm
department?
asking about information on the victim assistance coordinator with the police department. Why would you disregard that and not give me information on that? And lie.
The officer is going to give you that information if they come out and talk with you.
I'm
They're the ones
asking
who
for
get
the
you in touch
victim
with them.
assistance coordinator. That's different from the police. Why would you disregard me asking for that?
The victims assistance coordinator works at the police department. It's a part of our department.
Okay. So just come in and speak with the victim assistance coordinator?
Yes, the lobby is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If you need them outside of those lobby hours, I need to send a patrol officer to get you in touch with them. Do you want to do that today, or do you want to wait till Monday to come in?
Well, I came in already and they lied. They didn't tell me that it was a department. They said that I had to speak with some person that's out. And for 7 years, all the victim assistance coordinators were out if the police department wasn't forcing me to leave, trying to speak with one or scamming with the social worker to keep me from services. So I'm just trying to interrupt the pattern. What do I do? Because I already came in
Do you
and
want
they
an officer
lied.
today or not?
I'm asking, what do I do? This is the police department. I call the emergency line because I'm tired of games and
Right.
being forced to be in jeopardy and nothing's repeatedly done. I don't understand why I would
Okay.
get mistreated and controlled calling 911 trying to plead abuse for 7 years. And then when I wasn't recording, hung up on to
I
cover for
want to
crimes.
help you. Here are the options.
Are you trying to control me?
There, no, I'm trying to make
Uh,
sure that I can get you to help as soon as you need it, because you called 911 for an emergency and then you're talking for 20 minutes. So
you're
here are
gaslighting
your
me, ma'am. You're
options
being
today.
rude. Why would people repeatedly treat someone fleeing abuse like this?
Okay,
That's,
you can contact us Monday morning for our victims assistance. If you don't want an officer in person, you can contact the County Friends of the Family. They also are
I'm
victims
asking. I
assistance.
didn't ask about
Or I
that. I
can
asked
send
from
you
the
an
police
officer right
department,
now.
and you
If
keep
you want an officer
disregarding
right
me and
now,
trying to
what is
give
your
me.
location?
I'm sorry.
What is your
Like people are
location so I can
staged
send
around
you
me
an
to
officer?
drown me out purposely.
What's your location?
Okay, so the victim assistance coordinator. How do I speak with the victim assistance coordinator? You said it's a department.
It's a individual. They'll be here probably Monday through Friday. You can contact them then, or I can have the officer get you in contact with them today.
They lie. They don't do it, man. They bully and intimidate and don't give me services. Okay, ma'am.
That's unfortunate you feel that way. So what would you
It's
like
not that I feel
right
that
now?
way, ma'am. They said that at the Our Daily Bread when they were committing crimes. I'm not quite sure why people keep saying I don't understand why. I sorry that you feel that way when they're racking up felonies for themselves,
Do you
ma'am.
want an officer right now, or do you want to call us again next week?
I want the feds to interrupt this and give you guys your charges because it is criminal, but you have yet to receive your charges. Okay, ma'am.
If you want to complain about the police department, you can contact the Texas Rangers.
I've already been arrested at the Texas Rangers for trying to report crimes in Garland. And it's New Beginnings, domestic violence organization, as well as being assaulted by police. So they're not
Okay,
helping me,
then I
ma'am.
recommend you contact an attorney and get advice from them about
Why
your
didn't you
issues with the
recommend the
police
FBI,
department.
ma'am?
We're not the FBI.
I know, but why would you recommend I call an attorney for police to get criminal charges for their crimes? It's been impossible for me to get charges for a long time. Why would you recommend me get an attorney for police to get charges, as
Ma'am,
well as a multiple
you're
army of
on
other conspirators?
911. Do you have a
These are
life and death
felonies that are
emergency?
racking up that repeatedly are
Okay,
ignored.
I'm going to disconnect.
They
If
have
you need
disconnected a long
emergency
time, ma'am, when I
assistance,
talk
call
about felonies.
911.
I don't understand how you call law enforcement and can't get it. Who did I call? Hello?
Hi, Crisis Hotline. How may I help you?
Yes, may I have your name?
Who am I speaking with?
You don't want me to have your name? Do you know it?
I'm sorry, who am I speaking with?
Okay, you don't want to give me your name. That's not a red flag at all. It's Kiana.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine. You still don't want me to have yours?
Okay. No, I don't typically give my email, but how may I assist you today?
Yes, I'm playing abuse, and it's been impossible for 7 years.
Okay. And Kiana, how old are you?
Can you check and see if you're full before I go through all this?
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you. Can you come again, please?
Can you check and see if you're full before I go all through this?
I do need some more information before I can check. So, do you have any hits?
Oh, you need more information before you can check? Well, I just don't understand. This is just, I just don't understand why domestic violence organizations won't check in advance.
Okay, well, can I gather some more information?
Okay. Yes, we can gather the information for 7 years. Okay. Yes, if crimes weren't being committed to keep me away from them. There was felonies racked up all over the place and cons to keep me away from my children and malice, and it's repeatedly unaddressed. It's heartbreaking. I was having meltdowns for years, but it's been a long time, and I've had to normalize it because nothing's repeatedly done. Thank you. It happens all over, everywhere I'm at. They enlist the communities that I'm at in conspiracy to violate my rights and harassment in other games, control public transportation and malice and all kind of other unrealistic events. Control my phone in malice. I don't get my calls. I've called all over the United States. People don't call me back, and when they do, they're with games for psychological abuse. Happened in Dallas, Tyler, Texarkana, a lot of places all over Dallas, Grand Prairie, Denton, Fort Worth, Belmead, places that I'm just traveling through. Like in Belmead, I was only there a few minutes and trying to go to Metro PCS, but they're hacking my devices and they pretty know where I'm going and cause conflict wherever I'm at. Even if they stalk me and hunt me down, and even at local restaurants, they create problems. Sometimes they did a scheme to deprive me of food purchase, and I couldn't eat all day because of schemes when I wasn't recording. Then they started playing games at grocery stores and 7-Elevens, so I couldn't even eat there. And I was forced to live in a tent, so I would need to eat every day. So I had to venture out, and they would play games all day and con and keep me from and scheme so I couldn't get food purchased. They deliberately ruined my food. And then when I asked them to, because some of the food wasn't even edible, and then they told me not to come back to keep me from making future food purchases and schemes if they weren't giving me criminal trespasses and malice. You're in Los Angeles. My phone isn't safe. You're in Los Angeles, California. Okay, well, I thought you were in the Los Angeles area. That's what my phone said. You don't want me to know how would I flee? I know you can't expose the exact area, but you don't want me to know the city. I'm trying. I thought you were. I was trying to get the location in Los Angeles. Where did they tell you I was at? I'm saying. I repeatedly keep saying Los Angeles. I'm trying to relocate and flee for my life on my phone. I'm sorry. What did you say? Um. Okay. Let's see if you have availability. Years. Years. That's why I record everything. All over the United States, full Canada, Alaska. I think maybe the FBI really needs to interrupt this, ma'am. I don't think I'm really calling the real people. And if people haven't been concerned about my life, maybe they're concerned about identity theft being on the rise. Hopefully, they'll care about that and something's done. I think hijacking someone's phone and enforcing an insane amount of abuse on them is really sadistic. And the federal crime should have been issued out to people a long time ago. If enforcing a human being in this country to endure this level of insanity year after year unaddressed, I mean, how much longer do I have to take this? I pay a phone bill and can't properly use my phone. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what to do. I can't get my calls. Nothing's repeatedly done. Everywhere I'm at is the pathological liars. I don't know what to do. I just can't keep going through this. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Yes, is this for domestic violence? Do you have a domestic violence program there? They told me you did. and then told me to call back Monday, which was weird because why would a
We
domestic?
are, so we're a shelter and we accommodate families, but we're not primarily a domestic violence shelter.
Okay, well it says online that you are. In addition to that, I called before and they told me to call Monday and then gave me a voicemail of fleeing abuse, put me on hold. They've never returned my calls, and people all over the place blatantly lie with no
Was it at this
accountability.
location?
I just don't understand why, if I'm trying to flee abuse, why you have no direction. It says that you're a domestic violence place, and why multiple other locations do that.
Did you call this location on Lancaster
Where's the
in
domestic
Fort Worth?
violence one in Fort Worth?
I don't know, but if you call this location, then I can't really speak for who you talked to previously.
Okay,
But
can
I
you
am one of
find
the case
out?
managers
Because it
here.
is part of the Salvation Army. Can you find out?
So I'm one of the case managers here, and I can assure you that we're not a domestic
I'm
violence
not
shelter
being heard,
primarily.
ma'am.
So
I
I
don't
am.
understand why I keep going through this. On the phone, I pay the bill for it. I'm being defrauded out of funds each month.
I
But you
can't
don't want me
account
to
for
know where the
any
domestic.
information.
I'm sorry, you can't tell me which. Because my phone says that your domestic violence location in Fort Worth.
I'm just telling you what I know. I can't
Okay,
account for
well,
any
just put me on
information that you
hold and find
receive.
out the right number to call so a woman can flee abuse.
We are not a domestic violence shelter, so I can't give you that information.
You,
But if you want to
what's
be
your
put on
name?
the waiting list for the shelter,
What's your
yes,
name?
I can do that.
What's your name?
My name is Kayla.
Kayla. And you don't want me to have the number for the domestic violence shelter, and this one says that you are that I'm calling.
That's not what
It's
I
a,
said. I told you that I can put you on the waiting list for this shelter, but I don't have any information for a domestic violence shelter that's with the Salvation Army.
I'd like you to get it,
I don't
ma'am.
know. I don't know what location that would be because we don't have a domestic violence shelter in Fort Worth this with the Salvation Army. We do have a shelter in Arlington, but it's not DV.
So you know about the shelters, but you don't. The Salvation Army has no domestic violence locations anymore.
From my knowledge, I've been working with the Salvation Army for over 10 years. We do not have a primarily domestic violence shelter. The information probably isn't accurate or it hasn't been updated, but that's not something that I have information on. We
Okay,
do
ma'am.
have a shelter
Bye.
here. Okay.
So I'll call this number. Is what's saying on my phone. Every psycho abuser shouldn't come true. No one will ever believe her story.
Addison, Addison.
Yes, may I have your name?
Addison.
Okay, is this for domestic abuse?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to flee abuse.
Okay. Right now, is this for domestic violence?
Yes.
Right now we're full.
Okay, I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Okay, around October of 2018, I had experience. Well, let me explain this. You have a minute?
Yes.
Okay, so I came there October of 2018. I gave a different. I had on a disguise and a certain outfit, and I gave a different name and lied about everything. So they let me in the shelter. Okay, so then at the shelter they were questioning if I changed my clothes real quick and then took my wig off. So I didn't know what was going on with my life. So then a lady was trying to pick me, and I said, "What's going on?" Well, she says they're looking for this woman. They're passing out money left and right to everyone, staff too. They were looking for me. So then, since I already had the disguise on, there was a police helicopter, okay, shining the light on the ground looking for someone in the same location. I was terrified. So I later went to internal affairs to see who they were looking for the same day that they lost me, and they never had any answers. Okay, so I came back another time. They only allowed me to stay at the homeless park. Okay. Then when I came in, like almost all locations I'm at, they took everything off the bulletin. They did it at Friends and Family, as well as multiple environments I'm at. They did it at PNS too. So there's no information on the bulletin board. Okay. So they took all the things off the bulletin board. Each time I would try to go to social services, they'd mistreat and bully me and force me to leave. Then they schemed so I couldn't ride to Walmart multiple different times. Well, period, on the bus that they had. They lied to me and did not tell me that you can leave on Wednesdays. I needed to get my iron medication because I'm anemic, and then they mistreated me and bullied me. Why would they lie about you can leave on Wednesdays when they were doing the COVID quarantine? They did not want me to know that you can leave on Wednesdays and blatantly lie. Okay, moving past that, around April 26th, the police came. 3 police handcuffed me. I recorded it with my phone. I saw them in there, and then I recorded them coming out to me because they schemed. I had been at the courtyard almost the whole day, and you know that's nowhere near traffic because it's inside Salvation Army. So the police came and said that they got reports that I was blocking traffic. I said the camera's right there. I've been here all this time. So the police hauled me off and took me to Parkland Hospital in Malice and blamed it on Salvation Army staff. So I reported it to Parkland Police. They covered for it. Reported it to Dallas Police. They covered for it. And then I've been calling you guys several times, and my phone calls have never been returned. I did multiple grievances on blatant lies to keep me from housing and other shelter, and denial to put me in a safe environment, and mistreatment and games with staff. Not only that, MHMR came multiple different times on their own in Malice. Salvation Army witnessed me getting violated and things going on with my phone and cover for it and would not help me do reports and lied multiple different times. So what I'm concerned about, making false reports to take my freedom, is criminal. And I repeatedly keep reporting that. I had multiple different thefts and people would wear my clothes in front of me. They lied about clothing and would not give me the clothing voucher, as well as multiple other services. So who do I report this to? Because I repeatedly keep getting ignored. Making false reports to take my freedom is criminal. I think really what happened was the police department came on their own in Malice. They were infuriated because I went to Family Place a couple days prior and then took my freedom as punishment and then blamed it on Salvation Army staff. So to cover for their crimes, they have Salvation Army ignore me all these years so they don't get the consequences. So what do we do, ma'am? And then at another, I'm sorry, I did grievances and they were ignored, ma'am. They didn't follow protocol and ignored them. Oh, so people get away with all these felonies, ma'am? Because you haven't been there long? This is the domestic violence organization I call, ma'am. I'm confused. Well, if it's a domestic violence organization and you're full and you got my information, why don't you do anything to assist me? I thought this was a crisis hotline, ma'am, and you gave direction and referrals and information on my rights, and you're not doing any of that. I don't know how these referrals will be because they haven't been good for 7 years. Everywhere I'm calling is full and covering for crimes, and there's pathological lies all over the place. On another thing, when they schemed the arrest, they gave me a criminal trespass or banned me on blatant lies. So I don't know what's going on with that. I repeatedly kept calling, and none of my calls were returned. To scheme and take my freedom and then ban me from that location, like they've done years at multiple different other locations, repeatedly unaddressed. So out of all that, you want to know when it was? The only thing you're concerned about is a faux criminal trespass. I just don't understand why no one's doing anything about people banning me, and giving me criminal trespasses. That's illegal. Using badges and guns to railroad someone and keep them from help unaddressed year after year. I would like to address that criminal activity of someone scheming to take my freedom and letting you guys take the fall for it and then have you ignore me all these years to cover for it, like they've done 21 times with no accountability. So I thought that for calling a domestic violence organization, you would be more concerned about that than the faux criminal trespass. But that seems to be the only thing that people in my environments are worried about. Scams to keep me from services. I don't. I thought you already stated that you were full and you were supposed to give me referrals to people that are going to deny me again, like what's happened for 7 years. Yes, family place put me out when the car sped up like it was going to hit me on that camera footage. The police department came and made me go to the bridge, and they did not shelter. I had to sleep outside in jeopardy, like they're trying to get me to do now. Now they don't have to worry about that because all locations on the planet have blatantly lied about anything for domestic violence and banned me from getting all help and railroad me, so I never see it. Yes, our calling security kept repeatedly coming to bully, mistreat, and stood over staff to make sure they didn't help me, and then blamed it on me, said they did it because I was mentally ill. They denied all services, even lied about laundry, and gave me dirty clothes and all kind of horrible looking clothes and malice like multiple other locations did. I want to get outside of Dallas. All Dallas is bought off and controlled. I'm not quite sure why Salvation Army does not want me to get services inside of Salvation Army. You have all other kind of locations. Why don't you tell me about those that help with domestic abuse? That's what I call.
Other locations of Salvation Army?
Yes, that would be nice that have a domestic abuse program. Okay, so let me make sure I understand. I called the crisis hotline, and you want me to, you just want to say I think, and won't research and see.
No, I'm looking at the list of shelters for domestic violence, and the only Salvation Army is this location that's on there.
So there's no other one in Texas outside of this one.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking because this one goes all the way out to Waco. The other list, because I see one there in Waco, but that's not Salvation Army. It's Family Abuse Center. That's in Waco. They have Tyler on here, Sherman, Plano, Hope Doors, Plano, but those are not Salvation Army.
Okay, can you give me other locations? You're giving me all bribe places. New Beginnings, I
Okay,
was arrested
Garland,
at, and the police came to the one in Plano.
Hope Doors.
Yes, that you're giving me all bribe locations. I did say I want to go outside of Dallas.
So yeah, so Plano. I can give you the number. Are you ready for Hope Doors?
I'm not being heard, ma'am. The police department came, and then I was arrested at the one at New Beginnings in Garland and assaulted. Yet, and nothing has been done.
Okay. We're running out of places on the list. I don't. So I can. Do you have the domestic violence hotline? I
You
can
said
give you
something
that.
in Sherman.
Yes, crisis center.
Okay. I just don't understand why it's so that hard to get out of the outskirts further on a domestic violence crisis hotline.
This is the okay. So Sherman,
Okay.
you want their number?
Okay.
So this is 800-893-5615.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see what kind of game's gonna play with goes on. Okay. Thank you. I called in.
Hello. Okay. I do encourage you to please download the app so you'll be able to track your driver partner, cancel rides, and also book rides while you're sitting at home. Now, please have your phone number to start the account.
Deliberately do things like this,
Hello.
knowing you never believe my story. The
Hello.
noise pollution. Yes, ma'am.
The emergency number is 104 starts with 288. Can I book it? PM? Can I book it? Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
there's a window again.
PM
There's a window again. 2:55 to 3. Okay.
25.
So the 2:55 to 3:25. 30 minutes. A window.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and book it. Thank you for allowing me to use it.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I was begging for my life, and it was repeated interruptions all over the place. And I'm like, this is my luck can't be this bad. And then I realized it was deliberate schemes to drown me out. Okay, when did you stop giving the locations? Because it used to give you countdowns. Now Goes On has become abusive. The driver already, I haven't uploaded the video, pulled forward when I was moving in front of the car. So I'm just trying to understand why you guys don't give the countdown anymore. You used to be really have really good service. It changed. Hold on, Mia. Hold on one moment. Hold on one moment. Okay, what did you say? I gotta let alerts. When did it change? Other people get alerts that it's 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and now I'm being deprived of that. I'm asking why the policy changed, ma'am. I'm not being heard. Other people got countdowns. It will be here 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Got countdowns. Why did that stop? Now, I was waiting for the answer of the question. I'm not being heard. Why did the policy change, ma'am? There used to be countdowns. If you're giving me a window, that's not a countdown. I'm just trying to expose that people should have been in jail a long time ago, ma'am. Okay, thank you. I don't get treated properly. Okay, ma'am. There's all kind of excuses to why I'm being violated, but nothing's repeatedly done. Okay, ma'am. Now Goes On has changed their complete policy to be abusive, and then they don't give countdowns, and then they've changed to have windows. So someone can stand in the heat and a prearranged Goes On that's abusive and driving recklessly, and still nothing's repeatedly done. Okay, ma'am. Just like the TRE bus was passing. Never mind. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. I thought this was the number she gave me. What did I just call, ma'am? You don't want me to know what I just called? Hello? So this is some kind of. Yes, I think I just got a number from you for the location in Sherman. I wanted to get confirmation on that number. That was a promotion thing, ma'am. I've had to endure this a lot of times on calls. Yes, that's not a location in Sherman that I called, unless my phone's glitching. It says some kind of promotion, and then it's a recording. What was it? Okay. Okay. And what was the other number, location you had? That's 972-262-8338. Oh, 8383. Okay.
is in Cleburne, called Johns County Family Crisis Center.
Okay, what's that?
Their phone number is 800-848-3206.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
So they're fixing the door. I don't know what's going on.
Call the Family Police Hotline at 214-941-1991 because the Brighter Tomorrow's hotline is temporarily down. Brighter Tomorrow has closed its doors and is no longer offering services.
So they said that they Brighter Tomorrow's closed their doors, no longer offering services. They told me Genesis was closed down for remodeling. I don't know how true this is.
Because the Brighter Tomorrow's hotline is temporarily down. Brighter Tomorrow has closed its doors and is no longer offering services.
Yes, I'm trying to flee a domestic abuse crisis. What's your name?
Let me know when you're
What's your
ready.
name?
What's your name?
Your name?
Oh, my name is Angela.
Okay. So, you don't have advocates that secure. I'm not being heard, ma'am. This is a peculiar for a crisis hotline. So you don't have an advocate that'll secure someone a safe environment, and you didn't follow all the policies to.
Ma'am, we don't have any vacancies. All of our rooms are filled. So what I can do is I can give you a phone number to
Oh, that's not what I was asking. Do you don't have services, other services? And I said that I want to flee a domestic abuse crisis, or you deny me all other services because you're full?
I'm not denying you anything. We are full.
But I mean, what about all the other services that you offer? You didn't follow protocol and give me a safety plan, give me direction on try to how to flee abuse, like no one has done 7 years.
Ma'am, I'm trying to help you out.
How? And you're referring me to another location and following your policy.
Yes, ma'am. I refer you to Mrs. Granberry, and their number is 817.
You're depriving me of services here, ma'am.
684.
Ma'am, you're depriving me of services here, ma'am.
We do not have any vacancies.
So that means that you deny all other services.
May I ask your name?
It's K.
Say,
K.
what is your last name?
Why, ma'am? My phone's breaking up again, ma'am. There's all kind of schemes to disguise things that people wouldn't believe. I'm not quite sure what's happening, ma'am. You were giving me a location and I asked you about services there, and you were trying to deflect and give me another number. And then the phone started conveniently breaking up for 7 years.
How can I help you today?
Okay, so since you're full, you deny all other services and you won't follow the protocol and give me a safety plan and information, my rights and direction, and then your other services that you offer.
Hold on just a second. I'll let you speak with my supervisor.
No, I don't need to speak with your supervisor. They've done it 7 years, ma'am.
I'm definitely going to let you speak to her. Hold just a second.
And then charges nowhere to be found. When you get yourself in a bind and you get caught in your lie, you transfer to the supervisor. Yes, when I asked the operator why she wasn't following policy and giving me a safety plan and all the other guidelines, she put you on the phone.
Okay, what exactly are you on?
I'm sorry? I can't hear you, ma'am. The phone's breaking up. Can you repeat what you said?
are an emergency shelter.
That's all you want me to know?
And what is it? What is it that my staff do not give you for?
That's all you want me to know is that you're an emergency shelter? She tried to hide the other services and then transferred me to you when she got caught in it?
I can give you numbers to shelter. We got to get you off.
But I called this one, ma'am, and they shelter I've called 7 years does the same thing.
Well, I'm sorry that we're full at the moment. I can't make it.
But I don't understand why you guys are why are you denying me services here? She stated that she immediately stated she was full, but there's all kind of other services.
Okay, we do have other services, like, we have casting, we have the methadone, doctors, but we do not have another service to help you get into that shelter. We have no beds at our shelter.
Okay, so I'm just kind of curious on why all locations have denied all the other services in the middle of being full. You know why that has happened, ma'am?
No, I don't know who's denying you what, but
I called here and you're telling me you're full and sending me away. You're denying all the other services. She didn't do a safety plan, didn't give me my rights. You won't refuse to tell me what services you offer. Now the phone's conveniently breaking up.
okay, man, you have a nice day.
So you're denying me referrals? You're denying me referrals? Yeah, and I don't know why you're denying services and why I keep repeatedly being mistreated like this. Trying to flee abuse when the police weren't coming out on their own, ma'am. Why everyone punishes me for their current crimes they're committing. Conspiracy to violate rights is a felony, and when you're full, doesn't mean that you don't have other services to offer. That phone's breaking up. They're conveniently breaking up the phone. Just give me the services, the resources, ma'am.
The number is 817-916-4323, and the place is One Safe Place. Did you get that?
What location did I call?
Ma'am, you're breaking up. Did you get that?
What location did I call? This is in Sherman?
Ma'am?
You gave me a location in Sherman?
Ma'am?
You can't hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
Because if I call Sherman, why would you give me One Safe Place where I was arrested for trying to get services?
I'm not familiar with that. Okay, well, let me give you another one. Safe Haven.
Where's that located?
Oh, are you saying that you're an abuser? You were arrested? Tim? Is that what you're saying? That you were an abuser?
I'm just saying that spoofing calls is criminal, ma'am.
Ma'am?
Yes, are you
Are
here?
you an abuser? Oh.
I can't be put off at the address I'm supposed to be?
I'm sorry, we don't get
I can't. This isn't the address I asked to put in and they have that I need knee replacements. So I don't know why everybody else gets dropped off at their location but me. This isn't the right address.
Ma'am, I'm giving you resources. I'm sorry, we don't have any vacancies available. We do have counseling services available.
No, that's not the address I gave them. It's 1508. Ma'am, are you hanging up? And the Go Zone driver's not dropping me off wanting me to walk? Ma'am, are you hanging up? I don't know about all these glitches.
I've already explained to you that we don't have any vacancies available. I'm also giving you 3 different referrals.
This isn't the right address. Ma'am, so you're denying me services there? And the Go Zone's driver has the wrong address? And the other one pulled up on me when I was trying to go to the building? Oh, it let me call when I started recording. They had to get the scammers, make sure they were prepared for the scam call.
Safe House Denver's administrative offices. If you would like to reach a staff member, please press 4 for the directory. If you would like to leave a general message, please press
Okay.
0
It was
or
a
stay
domestic
on the
violence
line.
organization, and then it changed. It wouldn't let me press for Safe House, and then it called something else. That's not the number for Safe House. They're playing games.
You have reached Safe House Denver's administrative offices. If you would like to reach a staff member, please press 4 for the directory. If you would like to leave a general message, please press 0 or stay on the line. If you are needing to speak with an advocate immediately, please press 6 to be connected to our. Please hold a moment. Please press 0. Hola, hasta luego. Please hold a moment. For crisis line, este mensaje se repetirá en español. We are sorry we missed your call. We are either on the other line or busy assisting residents. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 9.
Yes, I'm trying to flee a domestic abuse crisis.
Yeah, this is the domestic abuse hotline in Boulder.
Okay.
Okay, so what's going on?
I'm in a domestic abuse crisis that involves the government. They've committed crimes with my phone covered for it. There's been hit and runs. I get gang stalked, harassed daily. They control public transit and malice, play all kinds of mind games all over the place, and scheme to keep me from services. And repeatedly have been has been unaddressed for felonies. They're scamming to keep me away from my daughter in malice, depriving me of all legal representation, and have every place I'm at blatantly lie to keep me from any kind of remedy to flee.
And you said that the perpetrator in this case is the U.S. government?
Yes, they're enlisted in the abuse.
Can you say that again?
They are enlisted in the abuse.
Okay. Where are you located right now?
I
Like
want to
what
keep that
city or
kind
town?
of safe, but you're in Boulder, Colorado.
Sorry, you said you're in Boulder or you actually live
I,
in
I wanted
Boulder?
to keep it confidential, but I know that you're in Boulder, so that's where I wanted to get assistance.
Okay. What type of resources are you looking for help with?
Um, all these places I call don't follow policy and advocate and direct. If I'm fleeing a domestic abuse crisis, what do you have to offer
So we have a variety of services. We
that
can
you don't
offer
want me to
help.
know?
We can offer help with counseling. We can offer legal advocacy. We can also sometimes help with shelter and housing stuff.
Sometimes it says you have a 24-hour emergency shelter.
Yep.
Well,
We can
why is it
access
sometimes?
your
Is you
right.
discriminate against certain people like everyone else?
It's because we have limited number of space,
Oh, I thought you
so
were
a lot of people
discriminating
don't
like
get
everyone
access.
else, which is criminal. I get discriminated against. I feel like
Right.
I'm in the
But
civil rights movement because I'm denied services all over the place and mistreated using services, oppressed and intimidation, and that was supposed to be outlawed and criminal. But yet there's no consequences. But anyway, sometimes I don't know what to do. When are the sometimes that you can get shelter when it's not me?
so again, really dependent on what our space looks like and
What's your
what
name?
your situation looks like.
What's your name?
I'm Rachel,
And what is this called?
the Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence.
I'm sorry?
The Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence.
Okay. So with the information, what can we do?
Well, I told you what those resources look like. What do you think would be helpful for you right now?
All of it.
All of it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to hear? Let's see.
Okay. Why?
We have a website that has a lot more information about like our legal services, counseling, and some of those programs that I'm
Okay, I'll look at it online later, but since I'm on the call, you can tell me. So I'm seeking shelter and all the services that you have to offer. I think that someone's sadistic. Any questions about that? And then sometimes have shelter. Spoofing calls is criminal, but you guys don't seem to be getting the consequences. So anyway, it's like you're being sadistic. Like they have been years in my desperation, terrified for my life, and repeatedly ignored. And then handcuffed and hauled off and even assaulted. Nothing repeatedly done. Felony after racked up felony after insane event, letting someone not mentally stable run the government for profit, send me around toxic roommates that are stalkers, nothing repeatedly done. I'm just trying to incriminate people so people can see what I've went through, and may perhaps that's why identity theft is on the rise because people choose to turn a blind eye for all this time, and then they didn't have rights either. Okay, so you said any questions about that? So are you denying all the other services like the other location did? Okay, so are you going to give me a referral like everyone else has? Yes, because it's been impossible for me to get it 7 years. Oh, you don't want to give me referrals to shelter? We're playing mind games? Oh, so you're playing mind games in my desperation for shelter. It doesn't sound like that's what I wanted, and that's what I asked. Okay, I don't know. You're allowed to run my phone scammers with no consequences. So if you are going to give me the number for the shelter, I'm just trying to incriminate people so they can see what I've been through and why 911 was hanging up in my face covering for crimes and I couldn't get emergency assistance. Games played until I started recording. So it's curious that 911 would be crooked enough to hang up in your face and cover for criminal activity and leave you in jeopardy like they did. I'm more asking for the shelters, ma'am. I'm pressed for time. I'm pressed for time. I'm trying to incriminate people. The shelters number? Yes. No, I'm not. I don't know where the shelters are. So if you could tell me, no. Sadistic. So you're asking me if I want you to give me the number or you want me to look it up or if I want to look it up. But I've asked you multiple times for the number. This is sadistic behavior. Like I've experienced taking advantage of my desperation of trying to get help and playing mind games. And that's 303-772-4422. I'm just trying to incriminate people because I don't understand how you'd have scammers in your pocket if you're not an identity theft ring. I've already had identity theft and they were probably scared and threatened my arrest to cover for it. I still haven't reported it. Okay, ma'am. I've repeatedly warned people left and right, but I'm still in it. Okay. Have a nice day, ma'am. I will attempt. I will attempt to put you those on. I'm sorry. What did I call? So they have to be better with their cons because I incriminated them. Okay. Yes. I'm trying to get shelter. Okay, you're at full capacity and you won't follow the protocol like all the other places? What about the safety planning and the other services? You don't understand what safety planning is and other services that you offer there? So that means you're denied other services like they've done 7 years? I don't understand what being full has to do with denying all other services because doing that in a conspiracy is a felony crime. Those just charges for doing that. There are civil rights and movements for people to have rights. And depriving someone of services in a conspiracy is a felony charge. And for places to be full 7 years, it sounds like that felony charge is being that crime is being committed. But people have yet to get their sentences for this criminal activity. Felonies all over the place. So I'm curious on why all locations that claim that they're full are denying all other services for 7 years and giving me numbers that have never helped in all these years. I have repeated myself probably 200 times to full places in this time frame, the 7 year time frame. Are you there, ma'am? Are you refusing to tell me the services you've offered, ma'am? Why would you do that? First, you said you were full to keep me from all the other services, which is a felony charge if people are caught doing that. Then, because of your full, you're denying me all the other services and safety planning. Ma'am, this has been a script for a long time. Why would you refuse to give me the services that you offer? Why would multiple different organizations do that and keep me from all the other services because they're full? I never got them in all this time. I repeatedly, ma'am, keep asking you for the services that you offer over and over again. Maybe the feds can help you, ma'am. So you don't want to give me any referrals in your con? She hung up. I'm sorry, what did I call? Oh well, good. Now that when I talk to people, they just answer the phone. Now they're answering it properly with the location. I haven't had that in a long time. Okay, ma'am. Yes, I'm trying to get services. Where are you located? Where are you located? Okay, I said that I'm trying to get services. What's your name? What's your name, ma'am? What's your name, ma'am? Olivia. It took you a while to get that, Olivia. Um, yes. Can you tell me the services you offer? How do you support them? What are the variety of ways, ma'am? Yeah, all the domestic violence organizations protect the abuser now, ma'am. They let you stay in abuse, and if they let you stay there and give you shelter, they protect the abuser. There's no consequences. They just give them shelter, feed them. If they do that, so how do they flee the abuse if their shelter doesn't help get any consequences for the abuser? Oh, so you make sure the abusers aren't at the facility, but how are they going to get consequences for abuse? Oh, so you don't help with protection orders, do accompaniment?
We can assist with those things if that's what you're looking for.
Is there a
Um,
particular reason why you didn't tell me?
you didn't indicate that you were asking for that kind of support.
I said that how do you get accountability for the abuser, and you said you're not the justice system.
Well, I'm sorry, I misinterpreted your question. The accountability for the abusers, sending the abuser to jail, which I can't control. But if you are working with the police to try and make that happen, we absolutely support you through that process.
Oh, but you don't help advocate and go through the rights and all of that in ways to get protection against the abuser. You don't do that.
We are not lawyers, so we can't give you legal advice, but we can point you to who will be able to give you protection orders and information and things that you need.
So the organization don't have legal representation.
No, ma'am.
And what did I call?
Crossroads
And where are you located?
in Fort Collins.
Okay. So what do you offer there?
I'm sorry, did I don't think I got your name. Can I get your name, please?
It's Kiana.
So, like I said, we offer a variety of services. We really try and support survivors through what they need. So, if that's with support at court, we are not lawyers. We can't do it for you, but we'll help you figure that out.
How do you help us figure it out?
We have a legal advocacy team who is familiar with the law process. So, for example, if there are individuals if you're going to bond, we can help explain to you what bond is going to look like. If you have a protection order, how you're
Bond.
going to go about
What
filing.
bond is going to look like? I don't understand.
It's a legal event when abusers are arrested and brought to court. Um, they often are set bond. Bond is set to decide do they need to stay in jail during the trial? How much money do they need to pay to leave jail while they await the end of their trial? And there's a whole process to that, and so we support survivors through that, explaining what's going to happen if they want to make participation. So we're not lawyers. We don't go to court for
I'm
you.
just asking
We
what
will
you
not
do,
speak
ma'am.
on your
I
behalf.
repeatedly am told what's not offered. I'm asking what you do. So what about
We do a
shelter?
variety of things.
What about shelter,
We
ma'am?
do have an we do have an emergency shelter. Yes.
Okay, I like to get shelter.
Okay. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your situation?
Yes, I'm in a domestic violence crisis that involves the government. They've hacked my phone, stolen funds from me, and listed multiple other conspirators and crimes for financial abuse. They've committed crimes years with the COVID stimulus check, and I couldn't get it. Then I just recently tried to get it again, and I haven't got my mail. They've committed crimes with mail, which are felonies at multiple different locations, and listed locations to deprive me of mail, including post offices. So I supposed to be getting the tax return. I haven't got mail from the IRS. Locations are told to deprive me of my mail, which is a felony. Multiple different locations. I also applied for benefits with Social Security. Social Security has committed a crime for past benefits and are committing a crime now. In addition to that, I did not get mail anything regarding the benefits. Then I've repeatedly tried to get help through Health and Human Services. They have some kind of domestic violence program, but they keep lying about it. Then they keep scamming to keep me away from food stamps. I'm already homeless and forced into abuse, going place to place, being denied services all over the place. Sometimes restaurants and hotels and stores deprive me of food purchasing schemes. I have trouble catching taxis, using public transportation, all kinds of transit. It's controlled and corruption. And I can't use my phone properly, paying a phone bill every month. When I try to report it to the providers, they come in, the police department bully me and give me a criminal trespass. I've had identity theft, and stores have been enlisted to defraud me out of funds and schemes. So it's extreme financial abuse. I can't get shelter anywhere on the planet. For 7 years, they've all been full, forcing me to have to live in a tent, terrified for my life. Then the minimal locations I'm at are controlled and abusive and deprive me of services. I'm not in a relationship. It was just someone I met online that was a stalker, and he's enlisted an army full of people in his abuse and has had no consequences for it. Are you there? Oh, okay. Because a lot of people play mind games and disregard. He's sadistic, so he loves for people to play mind games and disregard my value. He doesn't appreciate or respect women, which is why I didn't want to be involved in a relationship. That's how he treats women. So repeatedly, I'm disregarded and ignored. That's what makes him feel important. I think that people are lying, man, because someone told me that the shelter was full and someone got in it. And then at the bridge, they made me sleep on a mat the whole time I was there and bullied and mistreated me and schemed for keep me from services. So I talked to someone that got a bed, and he was telling me about the bed. The security came and interrupted it and put me out because they had me sleeping on a mat all this time on the floor, and someone came in and got a bed. So someone was monitoring my device and immediately had someone interrupt and put me out the bridge shelter for telling me the truth that the staff would not tell me. So some kind of part of the bridge that I've never seen, you have your own room and a bed. But they had me sleeping on a mat for an extended a period of time. Yes, but here's the thing: you're full, and you're referring me somewhere else. Instead of giving me the services you offer, you said there are a variety of services, and then tried to withhold them, and then cover for the abuser, and talked about bonds, and then finally, after multiple questions, you said that there's a legal department, and you're refusing all those services and want to give me numbers. There's a waiting list for outreach, ma'am. You'd have to prove something like someone spoofing calls for 7 years. That's an incredible story that no one would believe. That someone psycho would hijack someone's phone, listen to everything going on it, and commit crimes accordingly. That is very sadistic and, probably very highly criminal to let someone that's not mentally stable abuse all this power with no consequences. So, ma'am, I'm just trying to get a track record of the felonies that are repeatedly are racking up with no consequences, of how my phone calls are actually spoofed with scammers scheming a felony charge to deprive me of my rights all over the United States, which are other felonies. Okay, ma'am. Hopefully the feds are onto you guys, and this will be interrupted because forcing me to call scammers 7 years, defrauding me out of funds, paying a phone bill that I can barely use the phone on is criminal. Well, if you can, why would you agree and you're a scammer? Scammers don't, cover for the abuser in full all this time.
Ma'am, you called me and I'm
I'm
trying
just
to help.
wondering if
Now
you
you're
agree, why would you
disclosing
be a
that if you're
scammer?
going to continue insulting me and calling me a scammer, I'm
Well,
going to
because of
let
the
you
best
know I
predictor of
have no
future behavior is
safety
past behavior. I've talked to scammers 7 years. Like once again, you said that you were full and wanted to give me numbers. That's a red flag. You're a scammer. This is the domestic violence crisis hotline. What kind of direction did you give me?
I offered to give you other numbers for shelter. Is
But I
there
call this
anything you'd like
shelter.
to
Why would
talk
you
about?
deprive
I'm
me of the
happy to.
policy of giving me direction and information on how to protect myself against the abuser? It's been deprived all this time. Why would you do that? And you said you agree, and you said that you're not a scammer, but yet you didn't follow policy for this phone crisis hotline.
Is there anything specific I can help you with right now?
So you're refusing to help me and give me direction like I asked, and follow the
What
protocol and
direction
give
would
me a
you like?
safety plan, offer me services and advocate. You're refusing that.
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay,
asking
well
you.
you heard
What
that. You heard my experience. So what can you do to advocate for me?
I can help you figure out a mix of ways to secure safety online, but or put you through outreach. We can
Why won't
talk
you follow
about
the protocol with the hotline and give a safety plan and direction on how I can be protected now?
that's what I'm offering to do. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like your phone is unsafe. Have you tried changing the number or is it
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So I talked about a conspiracy with the government, an abuser that's psycho, and you want me to get my number changed in the safety plan? Why do all locations I call
from
cover
what
for him,
you've
ma'am?
gone through?
Do you know why all locations I call cover for him?
If you are if you don't find what I'm doing helpful, I
I don't know why you're covering for the
apologize.
abuser, ma'am, and then you're punishing me for you not covering for the abuser and withholding services on this crisis hotline.
I'm not covering for the abuser. I would
Okay, well,
like
what
to
can we
help
do to get him
you. I'm
consequences,
trying
ma'am?
to get.
What can we do to get him consequences with your domestic violence organization crisis hotline?
We are a local organization.
What does that have to do with how we can get my abuser accountability, ma'am?
It means I can't do anything to act against the abuser. I can only do things to support you. So I can help you try and figure out ways to keep your technology safe. I can add you to the outreach program so you can work with an advocate in figuring out your concerns with the government and the stalking and the non safety. Unfortunately, I can't offer you shelter right now, but I am trying to help you as best as I can.
I think the feds need to help, ma'am. I'm just doing this for evidence so people know what I've been through. This is criminal to repeatedly keep on getting ignored. And my phone providers defrauded me out of funds, letting the crooked government officials hack the network. They're crooked. They've stolen money from me. So they're letting crooked people that are identity thieves hack networks repeatedly unaddressed. So, ma'am, I'm just dumbfounded how more people aren't disturbed at my experience and keep conspiring with it. So invested a lot of time for scammers. In fact, 7 years. So this is just for evidence, ma'am, so people can know what I've been through and the felonies that keep on stacking up that are unaddressed. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too. Now, I just want to make sure you understand. 7 years all over have been full. Forcing me out in the heat in July, forcing me to stay in a tent, then having to go maneuver and try to find food when they weren't scamming to deprive me of food purchase at multiple different locations, even grocery stores. In addition to the cons, sometimes I couldn't eat after multiple different attempts, repeatedly unaddressed. So I just had to go back hungry because they kept scamming to keep me from food purchase when I wasn't recording. Oh, if you think it's out of control now, you should have seen it when I wasn't recording. That's how you get up to 21 false arrests. Torture in jail, placed with inmates that were blatantly lying me and abusive, denied cleaning. I used to be OCD. Now it cured me because they're always placing me around insanity. So in jail, they would deny all cleaning. In multiple different environments, they would deliberately create chaos. So it's just filthy. And they would deliberately place me in environments that are toxic. So if they would find the most broken down, run down places and enlist them to let me live there. And then other places scheme to get me out of them. Scheme to turn over her brand new policies that exclude me for 7 years. No, it's not just by chance. It's deliberate and a felony.